Now, just moments ago, the president took to national television again, trying to reassure Americans of his strategy against ISIS and saying that the government knows of no specific credible plot on the homeland. Watch this.
So far, our military and our partners have conducted more than 8,000 airstrikes on ISIL strongholds and equipment. Those airstrikes, along with the efforts of our partners on the ground, have taken out key leaders, have taken back territory from ISIL, and even as America is already supporting French airstrikes in Syria, yesterday President Hollande and I agreed that our countries are going to step up that coordination even further.
But you know what? Most Americans, they don't think it's working, and I'll tell you, France definitely doesn't think whatever we're doing is working, which is why today, hat in hand, Hollande is looking to another world leader for action. And he is asking for Putin's help. As if it wasn't hard enough to ask for Putin's help, we have new details, everyone, today emerging on the Russian warplane shot down by Turkey that's complicating discussions most definitely right now. A senior defense official indicates that the Russian fighter jet, may have moved back into Syrian airspace just seconds after the Turkish missile was actually launched. Now, this was some video that was taken, which, if authenticated, seems to show Syrian border rebels shooting at the pilot as he parachutes from the plane. That action would be considered a war crime. We're getting analysis right now from former Vice President to Dick Cheney, National Security Advisor John Hanna. John, welcome to the show. Let me just ask you, how does all this information about this plane, how does it affect global talks that are happening on ISIS, in your view, right now?
Well, I think it throws a big monkey wrench into President Hollande's really desperate effort to look like he's the international statesman in the aftermath of these attacks in Paris, to put together this grand alliance that includes Russia and the United States. But now with this simmering kind of conflict between NATO and Russia, I think it makes it all the more difficult to get Russia into this alliance against ISIS, because Russia wasn't into this alliance in the first place. Its priority remains bolstering the Assad regime, not defeating ISIS.
Well, you know, and this is the challenge that the world is facing right now, right? Because Putin wants to keep al-Assad there in his seat. And he also wants to seemingly get rid of ISIS. So if he's going to be working to get rid of ISIS, and we're not offering some kind of counterpoint to who we're going to put in to run Syria, then what have you got? What are you left with?
Yeah, no, that's exactly the choice that Putin has been working to confront the world with. You either got ISIS or you've got the Assad regime. There's nothing in the middle, because Putin is eliminating everything in the middle. That's what he's spending almost all of his bombs and ordnance and strikes on, is defeating all of those semi-moderate rebel groups that the United States and our allies have been trying to help. His priority, he'll fight ISIS, but only once the rest of the world, including the French, say, okay, Assad can stay. He's not the best there is, but he's a hell of a lot better than ISIS.
Mm-hmm. Well, John, what's the likelihood of that happening? I mean, we now, as I was just stating, are watching President Hollande go to President Putin, hat in hand, essentially, because the U.S. is effectively doing nothing, that, at least from all that we've seen, not doing anything to really increase its presence and increase its attacks on ISIS. So if he goes to Putin for help, what is Putin going to hold out for? Is it going to be the backing of Bashar al-Assad?
I think two things. I think the backing of Assad, and I think France and Europe are almost there, because they cannot afford another strike on Europe. It will tear Europe apart and undermine completely the entire European project of open borders, everything we've heard about. The second thing that Putin wants is clearly Europe lift the sanctions for our intervention into Ukraine and our seizure of the Crimea. He wants those sanctions gone.
All right. Well, we'll be watching. Wait, just quickly before I go, what's the likelihood that Putin's successful in this, that he gets what he wants from Europe?
I think he's unlikely to get it in the short term. I think the French will signal we can back Assad, but just don't make us say it. But I think he can get that.
People need the help. They need to fight this terror threat. John, thank you very much. Good to have you here today. New reports, everyone.